Hey guys, welcome back to Net Talk 757, and today we have a luxury. We don't get to interview referees very often, but I know referees play a major role in the game and what we're doing and maybe even how we're training and those types of things. Well, they also have to do some training as well. And so we have Alan and Dick here today, who are two of the referees who have been in the 757 doing this for a good while now. And hopefully you recognize them. Hopefully not because you got a red card from them or got kicked out of the game. Some of my coaching buddies, you know how that goes. But hopefully because they've done a nice job on the court and ran the court smoothly and allowed the kids the opportunity to play the game correctly, but also enjoy the game. One thing we found out as we were doing some of our segments is that the referees actually do some training where they have like a mentor-mentee program. And so that's why we have you guys here sort of today to explain that so our viewers understand that not only are the players getting educated, not only are the coaches getting educated and we're constantly learning, but the referees are doing the same thing. So if you guys can maybe give us a little bit more insight on what goes on in this new program.
Sure, I'll go ahead and start it off. Each of the say top quarter of the referees who've been doing this for quite a while were given 3 or so mentees to mentor throughout the training process, which actually starts in early July and goes about 2 months before the season starts. And this includes face-to-face discussions, phone discussions, email, as well as having the mentees and mentors go through volleyball ref training online, specific segments every week, and then reporting and having a dialogue about that. Intertwined with this is a requirement to take an annual exam and also to make sure you're reading the rule book and getting all those things straight before the season starts.
So how long does that process, like to do all that, how long does that basically take before you can be certified to do a match?
Most of the refs are already certified at a certain level to do a match. It's just we have 6 levels in EOA, 1 through 6, 6 being the novice ref, and there is the assigner has certain levels where they can assign a 1 or 2 or 3, and then more suited to lower levels, let's say JV matches and things like that. So this is just a continuing process year after year, and hopefully the mentees will improve to where they can do higher level matches.
So as a mentor-mentee program, how often do you guys get together to converse with each other and help work on things? How many opportunities do you have to do that?
We have lots of opportunities. A lot of them are electronic. Dick will contact me at least weekly and maybe more. And then we're having, today there's a giant scrimmage, and we're actually doing the work. We're actually doing the line judging in the R2 and the R1, and he can, on a positive way, show us how we can improve. So I've been very impressed with the training and how much time he puts in to actually become a referee.
Now for you guys, obviously, you've been doing this a long time. So today is maybe a little brush up, get the dust off or whatever going into the season. But how valuable is the private school tournament that's going on right now for Wounded Warrior? How valuable is that for some of your newer referees who may be a little bit more nervous before they get into actual matches this year?
I'd say it's very much so, because it's mostly non-hostile, non-threatening. As you coaches know, can sometimes get that way.
Not us.
Yeah, but we have an opportunity to actually stand beside them and say, no, you probably really want to call it this way. And again, non-hostile, non-threatening. I think that's the best part. And then immediate feedback, sometimes even during the match.
Right. Well, and I just watching today, that was one of the things that I picked up from the whole scrimmage that's going on, is just how relaxed it is. Everyone's sort of learning. No one's, even the coaches are just a little bit more relaxed, sort of coaching rather than just yelling and whatever, because everyone's new to doing it and allowing people to make mistakes and realizing, hey, this is the first thing we've done all season. Let's just relax and get it and try to make it better and that type of thing. So.
Well, there's no substitute for live action. You can watch all the videos you want, and they can slow it down, and the block was here, the hit was here, it's out of here. But when it's bang, 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 you have to look at it. What did I see? Only by doing that can you actually figure out what you're doing. It's tough sometimes.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, high school matches I could maybe do. I don't know how you guys do it when we get into junior matches and you guys are all up there all day for 3 days. My ADD would kick in. I'd be losing track all over the place. So now, obviously, in the next couple weeks, you guys will be scheduled to do high school or college matches or whatever. What would you say on average? How many days a week would you say your typical ref is working?
Well, it's variable. There's an electronic system where you block out certain days, so it actually depends on the individual, how much free time he has. And then on the days that you have big matches, Tuesdays and Thursdays are usually a giant day in high school. So sometimes, they're pushed to the limit using every official all the time in middle of October in the heat of the season.
Well, you have high school, both public and private, right? And you have college going on. So you're talking
there's rec. We do rec ball. We do
right.
All sorts of.
So it's a lot of. How many people would you say? How many referees would you say are here today training? Would you have any idea?
We have 23 mentors here, most of whom are here, and probably trainees, maybe 40 to 45, maybe.
Yeah.
So we're over 60 probably.
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's 70, 80, something like that.
What Mary told me was there's actually about 90 registered refs.
Within coming in and out,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Different times.
Well, no, but she said a lot of people couldn't make it today. About 30
Yes.
couldn't make it,
Yeah.
so those numbers are right
Yeah.
on.
And you're talking about there are days, there are periods for me in September, October, where I'll go 8 or 9 days in a row.
Mm.
And I go high school, college, high school, college.
Right.
See, Dick, he's at the very top, so he's
Not quite.
he's calling all the. For the very competitive matches that make a difference in the state, you want
Right.
the best referees, and they try and do that. And the new
Right.
people get the rec ball and middle
Sure.
level, and then
Right.
and here you have the two people that are going to play to get into
Right.
the states.
Well, you figure as the kids get older and as the teams get better, the pace is higher.
Oh, yeah.
So you got to be more aware, that you got to get used to that pace, and then I can understand that. I used to do a little bit of reffing in different sports, and it was a whole lot different from JV to high school to college and all that kind of stuff. So I can see why that would be.
It's sort of funny too, because as you go up, the players get better. So it's on one level a little easier to call, but there's those 5 or 6 calls. You better get those 5 or 6 calls right. On the lower level, you can call almost anything, and you have to figure out what level to set and stay at
Right.
that level. So you don't want to call everything, and the kids get discouraged. So
Right.
So it's sort of a funny animal when you ref like this.
Yeah, I could imagine.
You know.
So what is give me the toughest reffing situation you've ever been in?
All right, Dick, you have to.
I mean, did you ever have a protest that stopped the game for a while or anything like that?
No, I guess I went to as going to be an R2 at Maryland Eastern Shore, as a matter of fact, and I was relatively inexperienced and had a very experienced R1. I get there and she says, I got a sore throat, I'm not feeling well, can you be R1? And I went, okay. So we go to 5, 14, 13, in the 5th, and I think it was Morgan State. It was a very vocal female coach, might have been, and they were at the top,
Right.
right at that point. And R2 calls the net. I didn't see it. She calls the net, and I'm going, okay, I got this.
Right.
Okay, match is done, and losing coach, who was Morgan State, comes by. You can overrule that. You can overrule that. And I'm going, there's no way I'm overruling
Right,
it.
exactly.
And we're done now. I'm done.
I know it can get testy sometimes. I have colleagues who can get testy, and what I've appreciated in the past is, I think as referees develop in the game, you guys know that half the time it's not even us being mad at you. We're more mad at the situation.
Right.
You're just a person we're not taking it out on most of the time, which isn't right, but it
Well,
happens.
a good example of that today. A number of calls went against one of the coaches, and she was pretty good about asking a question, and then she came over to us and asked, and we had to fess up.
Right.
We'll get that. And so talking to our R2s is, if you got a coach that's having a little bit of a problem, approach them.
Right.
Talk to them.
Right.
They just want to be talked to. I mean, you can do
Yep.
that.
Yep.
Keep the communication going.
Well, and I as you coach long enough, you realize too that overly complaining isn't going to change the call anyway. So whenever I coach, if I disagree with something, I try to sort of give the nod and give the are you sure about that, and then I let it drop. You're not going to change a whole lot about that anyway.
I've really been impressed with the volleyball coaches. I mean, in general, it has one of the lowest disqualification rates of any sport in the state. Like 3 or 4 or 5 a season. So I think most of the coach understand that. Half the people we make a call, half the people aren't going to like it. So we're only satisfy 50% of the people here. So but most of them have been really. I've been really impressed.
Well, you mustn't have refereed many of my friends. You obviously haven't had Keith Betts at Great Ridge. Okay, so I want to put you guys a little bit on the spot. So in the past, a couple segments ago. Keith and I both basically stated, we called it our red card segment. And our red card segment is one of the things we covered was what is one of the newer rules that's come into volleyball that you think is just garbage and would love to see go away. So you guys have been around for a while. You've seen the game change. Not that it's going to go away, but what's one rule that you have to make the call because that's your job, but you're like, what, I wish this rule would change because I don't like that rule. Anything come to mind?
Well, I'm not nearly as experienced as Dick, but the one that what I would get is if there's a tiny little touch away from the play on the net, you have to call it. It didn't affect the play at all. Someone just touched the net just a little bit. The rule says you call it.
Which is wild because in college, any little nick, but then in juniors you can hang all over it and play goes on.
And it's going back the other way. It just started in Beach. It's not the top of the tape. It's any net while playing the ball, which is be nice if it trickled down that way.
Yeah,
then we have all 3 rule sets. They've gotten closer together over the years, but it's still a bit of a pain.
Right. We had talked about that. That was one that we had brought up. The other one that being a volleyball player, that I've always hated is the overhand serve receive.
Yeah,
I think it's taken athleticism. I think it's taken athleticism out of the game. Like if you can't forearm pass, you don't need to be back there. But I would like to see that rule change as well. And I know it speeds up the game and it takes a little bit out of it, but I think it takes away some of the natural skill and touch in the game too.
I didn't want to go there, but I'm just so with you. So much with you.
Yeah. Right. And a lot of these kids are coming from juniors to high school. They have to make a transition here.
Right.
That was legal in junior. No, it's not legal here.
Right.
I'm sure your coaches, you have to sort of drill into them.
Yeah,
you can't do this.
Well, and I think sometimes coaches who coach both, you're almost like, okay, now which season am I in? Especially with substitution rules.
Right.
Because even the substitution rules are different. You got to think, okay, how many subs do I have this season? Okay, how many subs do I have this season? And then it's funny how all the organizations can't come up with one set of rules. There's rules for this and rules for that.
I think they're moving towards it, but it's pretty slow.
Yeah, after 15 years, they're certainly closer than they were 15 years ago.
Right.
Still not close enough.
But anyway, well, thanks, fellas. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Gets our viewers a chance to listen to some referees and their side of things and whatever, because usually we just hear you guys blowing the whistle, not actually talking. So, and I know you two are going to be new fans of Net Talk 757.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You got it.
So we enjoy you guys being here, and make sure you thank all the other referees for spending their Saturday with us for a good cause and a nice way for everyone to get back in the roll of things. So,
well, thanks.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you. And Net Talk fans, don't give your refs a hard time. A lot of claps, candy at the end, that kind of stuff. But anyway, we'll catch you later, and keep digging.